Hey, beautiful soul. Hey, friend. It's your girl Life coming to you to help bring you some positive energy while we work through our psychic navigation skills. For this week, we are reading chapter 2 of the Psychic Navigator. Please excuse my voice, it is a little froggy this week. I am drinking on I'm sipping on some blueberry, garlic, and fenugreek tea to help get things back in order. As far as our positive energy, we have Mossa Gate, which encourages tranquility, is perfect for those who experience strong oppression. We have Obsidian, which is a psychic protection stone, powerful metaphysical properties that will help to shield you against negativity and stimulate the gift of prophecy. We have Preonite, a stone of prophecy and dreaming. It promotes communication with other planes of existence. We have Pyrite, which is another protection stone. It shields and protects against all forms of negative vibrations and or energy. And last but certainly not least, we have zebra stone or the zebra rock or stone, which balances the yin and yang energy. It balances your chakras, your physical, emotional, intellectual, and etheric bodies. So those were the energies that got pulled as we jump into chapter 2, which is discovering your psychic strengths. When we were kids, we were quite physically aware, but as we grew up, our minds were filled with external influences, from teachers to parents, and of course, the media. Consequently, the intuitive right side of our brain got used less and less, and the left, more analytical side started to take over. The result is that as adults, we tend to no longer look to our intuition for guidance. Instead, we now rely more on our physical senses to make decisions because we've learned to rationalize. Fortunately, we all possess our own individual special gifts and talents. Just as some of us, just as some of us are artists, teachers, construction workers, administrative assistants, or what have you, the same can be said for our psychic abilities. We each receive information in different ways, depending on our specific psychic strength. In fact, after studying psychic awareness for many years, I've learned that everyone has one or more psychic gifts. In this chapter, I'll focus on the three most common: clairsentience, clairvoyance, and clairaudience. Each ability corresponds to a particular area in the body where psychic energy and vibrations are received and identified. It's quite natural that some of you will become more proficient in one area over another. If you think that your individual psychic aptitude is to become a feeler, for example, then you should work to strengthen that skill before you try to move on to developing other psychic senses. I've noticed that many students who participate in my workshops believe at first that seeing is the best way to receive psychic information. But being a good feeler can also produce excellent results. With time, practice, and patience, You'll be able to use all three of these primary psychic senses so that they work in unison. But as you're starting out, I want you to discover and work with your strengths, which is the best way to begin building a solid foundation with your own individual psychic self. Now let's explore and understand the workings of these abilities and discover which one or more you possess. Clairsentience, or clear feeling, is the inner sense of knowing. It's one of the more familiar psychic strengths and relatively easy to develop and access. Have you ever walked into a room where an argument recently just took place and you just felt it? When energy lingers on, you end up sensing the emotions that led to that argument through your clairsentient ability. In other words, you feel the turbulent, negative energy of that recent altercation. Here's another example. Let's say you're introduced to someone for the first time and you immediately get an uneasy feeling. You just know that you're not really going to bond with that person. What's actually happening is that you're receiving thoughts and feelings from that person's aura that are then transmitted through your abdominal area, resulting in what we so often call a gut feeling, which is a form of clairsentience. Indicators of being clairsentient. Are your feelings easily hurt? When sitting in a room, can you feel if the furniture isn't positioned right for the room's energy? When meeting others, do you intuitively know that something is wrong even though they appear to be happy? When you're driving, do you sense when you should take a different street than normal, only to find out later that there was a terrible traffic jam on your original route? Are you the person that everyone goes to when they're feeling down or when they need to get something off of their chest? These are all potential signs of a clairsentient sensitivity. Many people who are feelers will also receive other people's stuff or information outside of themselves. If your natural psychic inclination is to feel, it's also quite probable that you pick up vibrations from other people, which will have an effect on your own outlook. I like to make a cautionary note here. If you're usually an upbeat kind of person, and for some reason you start feeling down, even though there's nothing happening around you to cause this, try approaching it from a different angle. Instead of asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Try asking, who's wrong with me? You see, you may actually be turning into the feelings or vibration from someone else without even knowing it. But your psychic abilities want to help you. So the next time this happens, stop for a few minutes, focus on your solar plexus area, and ask yourself, whose feelings are these? As you do so, see if an image of someone comes to mind. It could be any one friend. It could be anyone, a friend, neighbor, a coworker, or even your mom. Try calling them to ask how they are. You may be surprised to find out that he or she is the one feeling down. If you're clairsentient, you'll just naturally pick up other people's emotions. We live in a society that's less prone to hugging, touching, or embracing each other. But clairsentients need to touch and feel things physically. The hands are wonderful receptors of energy. So the next time you meet someone new, look into their eyes, reach out and shake their hand, and make a real connection. And when you meet a friend, give them a big hug. Just be aware of your clairsentience, and the subtle ways you receive information will help you in so many ways, and will also provide a wonderful tool to help find answers to those unanswered questions. Here's an exercise. When you're about to make an important decision, whether it has to do with a new relationship, buying a car or a home, or making a business decision, focus on your clairsentient conduit, your solar plexus, and try the following exercise. First, find somewhere quiet and comfortable to sit. Close your eyes and hold your hands over your solar plexus area. Imagine that this area of your body is slowly filling up with beautiful yellow light. When you feel settled and comfortable, ask yourself, how do I feel about this decision? Or, how do I feel about this person? See if a feeling or an image comes to mind. Next, ask, does it feel positive or negative? If you feel uneasy about what you're feeling, then ask again, why am I uneasy? The more specific the questions, the more specific the answers should be. Now that you have some idea about clairsentience and how to access this area, experiment in any area of your life you wish. This ability can become highly tuned, or if necessary, you can turn it down to decrease your psychic sensitivity. Just focus on your solar plexus and imagine the yellow light getting smaller. Once you've practiced working with your clairsentience, try going for walks in the country and open yourself up to feel the outdoors and all its beauty. Since everything is made up of energy, you'll quickly learn to feel it all. Affirmation. I am beginning to develop my clairsentient ability. I safely receive and only feel what is best for me as well as others. I am beginning to develop my clairsentient ability. I safely receive and feel only what is best for me as well as others. I am beginning to develop my clairsentient ability. I safely receive and feel only what is best for me as well as others. Clairvoyance, or clear seeing, means that your psychic messages are received via images, pictures, symbols, and colors. It's not about seeing in the physical sense with your eyes. Rather, it's about using your inner eye, which is better known as the third eye. Many psychics and mediums see in this way. Sometimes you may notice one of them looking away when they're giving a reading. For example, I often look over the left shoulder of my client when I link with those who have passed on. It's not that I'm being rude. It's more that I'm looking at a blank screen with my third eye, which I refer to as my psychic screen. It's almost as if a mini movie is playing out right in front of me. Sometimes the images can be very fleeting or subtle, which is why most people don't even notice them. Many people also think that some sort of other dimension is going to open up right in front of them with the clairvoyant image. In reality, clairvoyance is more about receiving images, words, or symbols that have their own unique interpretation for each and every one of us. Through time and practice, the same symbols will repeatedly come back to you, and you'll learn how to interpret them by drawing your own analogies. It's important to make note of these symbols in your journal and see if they feel right to you. They'll become your own psychic dictionary for interpreting clairvoyant information. Indicators of being clairvoyant. Do you often experience vivid, highly memorable dreams? Are you the sort of person who doesn't wear a watch because you have the ability to actually visualize what time it is? Are you good at picturing exactly where to place furniture to enhance the energy or design of your home or office? Have you ever looked at others and known that they were coming down with something even though they appeared quite healthy? When talking to people on the phone, can you envision what they might look like even though you've never met them before? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you could already possess some clairvoyant abilities. Don't let popular misconceptions hinder your personal development. Some people can find the unknown a little scary, and the word clairvoyant itself can act as a deterrent. People have become influenced by TV shows that often portray clairvoyance with those cliche ridden images, such as smoke filled rooms, turbans, and crystal balls. I think it's time to dispel those myths. Clairvoyance is just seeing through your mind's eye. To be a little more scientific, the reception area for this ability is situated between your brows, the third eye chakra, and it's associated with the pituitary gland. People who demonstrate a strong tendency towards being clairvoyant often want to spend time in big, open, well lit spaces. Equally, when they travel, they're the ones who have to see it all. They never want to miss anything. As with clairsentience, once you know how to access the specific reception area and interpret your own symbols and images, the benefits the benefits of using your clairvoyant ability can help you as well as others. Years ago, I gave a private reading. Some years ago, I gave a private reading to a woman named Beth. She barely walked in when I immediately saw a brand new computer on her desk in my mind's eye. On the screen, I saw a big red X. Before she even sat down, I launched right in and asked her if she'd recently purchased a computer. She said that she was actually going to look for one after she finished with our reading. From years of practice and my personal symbol directory, I knew that the red X symbol represented. So I advised Beth to have a professional technician look at the machine before she did anything else. A few days later, Beth told me that a friend of hers had thoroughly checked out the computer she was interested in, only to discover that it had been constructed from numerous used parts and wouldn't have lasted more than 6 months. A great way to train and sharpen this ability is to listen to visualization tapes that take you on beautiful journeys in your mind's eye. I also recommend that whenever you spend time outside, you try to notice everything around you, whether it's the royal blue sky, the rich green grass and trees, or the cottony appearance of the clouds. Also, try to notice all the diverse kinds of people you come into contact with each and every day. If you want to immediately see with your psychic eye, then start by really looking at and noticing your surroundings right here in the physical world. By doing so, you'll be training your eyes and your mind to notice more, which will assist you in developing your clairvoyant strength. Try the following exercise to understand where your psychic eye is and help to expand your psychic vision. Again, with all the exercises in this book, as with all the exercises in this book, find a quiet, comfortable place where you're not going to be disturbed. Get a small white votive candle and sit comfortably with the candle in front of you. Relax your eyes and stare into the flame. You'll start to feel your eyes to water. When they do, close them and put the palm of each hand over each eye to create a total blackout. You should now start to notice that the flame is flickering slightly above and between your brows. Wait until the flame disappears, then do the exercise for another 10 to 15 minutes. What you're actually doing is training and developing your clairvoyant eye. So now you know that this special spot is just above the bridge of your nose, not where you look straight out with your physical vision. The next time you want to use your psychic abilities to help answer a question or a decision, start by closing your eyes and gently focusing on your third eye area. Then go ahead and ask the question. As always, remember to be specific. When you've done so, write down in your journal whether you saw a symbol, a word, a color, a person, or even an object. By practicing and experimenting, you'll continue to sharpen this ability. Start off with some small, simple tests. For example, try to guess the suit of playing cards after turning them upside down. I used to play the following game with my mother when I was a child. Little did I know that I was training my young psychic abilities. Have a friend think of a number from 1 to 50 and see if you can visualize it. Go with the first answer that pops into your psychic vision. Another great experiment is to have someone stand in another room and choose something to hold in their hands. Keep a mental note of what you see, whether it's an image or an outline. Trust what you're receiving before your logical mind tries to shoot it down. These exercises may seem elementary, but what's actually happening is that you're beginning to stretch your abilities once again. Remember the saying, use it or lose it. You can also make up your own experiments. There's so much more to see once you can learn to use this remarkable ability. Affirmation: I'm beginning to develop my clairvoyant ability. More and more, I notice all the beauty around me. I am beginning to develop my clairvoyant ability. More and more, I notice all the beauty around me. I am beginning to develop my clairvoyant ability. More and more, I notice all the beauty around me. Clairaudience, or the inner sense of hearing, is the ability to hear names, dates, certain sayings, and yes, even songs and melodies. When you hear subjectively, that is, in your mind, you'll become aware of sounds as though there's words spoken in your own voice. This is why clairaudience can be a little confusing when determining if these are your own or psychic thoughts. With practice, you'll be able to differentiate between the two. It's also important to point out that some people hear objectively, which is outside of themselves. For instance, have you ever heard your name called out only to find that no one was there? It may be from a loved one in spirit, or it can be someone here who may be thinking of you. If you feel it's the latter, try calling that person to say hi. They'll probably tell you that they were just thinking of you. Another good example of clairaudience is when you hear a song playing in your head. Stop for a minute and make a mental note of what the song is. Then, when you have a chance, listen to the words. All too often, there will be a message of encouragement or advice for you or for someone close to you who needs a little lift. This ability can be accessed through the throat reception area, the throat chakra, and clairaudience can increase their psychic listening strength by focusing on this area. Indicators of being clairaudient. Do you always think inside your head instead of out loud? Can you tell when someone isn't telling the truth? Are you attracted to loud places? Do you usually have music playing in the background no matter what you're doing? Do you ever hear what others are thinking? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you probably pay great attention to that still small voice that you so often hear. You know that the one that so many of us don't listen to enough, only to regret it later. The first stage of developing your clairaudient ability must begin by differentiating psychic information from your everyday thoughts and mind chatter. To do this, you'll need to practice improving your clairaudience. Over time, the information you receive via your inner voice will start to flow and will develop a sharper sense of clarity. Generally, this information should have a positive tone to it. If you're receiving negative information, then it's likely that to some degree of interference is coming from your own mind. In this stance, you should consider checking to see if there are emotional or psychological issues that need addressing before you continue. One very important piece of information I give to people who are beginning their psychic training is this. When you believe that you're receiving psychic information, step back and ask yourself, is this information coming to me or from me? By doing so, you'll remain subjective at all times. As you develop further, you'll be able to access your psychic hearing to assist you in many areas of your life. If clairaudience is your strength, then try the following exercises. The first exercise being, this time, find a comfortable place outdoors, such as a park or at the beach, but somewhere that people of all ages come together. Close your eyes and breathe in slowly and relax. Now, just listen with your physical hearing. Try to focus on the sounds from far off in the distance. Can you hear the traffic, the birds chirping, or airplanes flying overhead? Reach out as far as you can with your hearing and slowly bring your awareness closer to your surroundings. Can you hear the children playing? Can you hear what other people are saying? Try to figure out the age difference in their voices. Are they young or old? Are there animals in the area? Notice all the sounds far and near at the same time. Now, while this is happening, try to listen to the silence in between the sounds, which is the special place where the undercurrent of psychic information can often be heard. This exercise trains your physical hearing to reach different levels and ranges. By doing so, you'll actually sharpen your clairaudience, as well as listening outside of yourself. The best advice I can give you now is this. Begin to really listen. My apologies for keep yarning. Exercise number 2. Sit or lie down in a comfortable, quiet position in your special room or area. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes and let the day slip away. Now imagine that there's a beautiful sky blue light situated in your throat area. Imagine that this light is slowly expanding as you breathe into the center of your throat where clairaudience is accessed. Take a few moments to ask any question that you like information or guidance on. But as you're asking, keep your awareness in this area and on the sky blue light. If at first you don't hear anything, don't be put off. You may receive a word or even a sentence. Does the answer you received relate to the question you asked? If you don't understand the answer, ask yourself what it means to you. More information could flow, or your inner guidance may want to stick to the answer it originally gave you. Trust what you're receiving, for you may notice that at a later date or time, it was the perfect answer. And the next time you go into a meeting, take a few moments to focus on your throat area and ask, what do I need to know for this meeting? A word of advice may come to you, or even a song or symbol that somehow seems to speak to you in its own way. Your angels and guides are also wanting to assist you. All you have to do is ask them a question and listen for their guidance. Make a note in your journal of what you're receiving and date it. Information might not make sense now, but it probably will later on. As I said before, don't forget to ask, is this coming to me or from me? Affirmation. I am beginning to develop my clairaudient ability. More and more, I notice all the sounds around me. I am beginning to develop my clairaudient ability. More and more, I notice all the sounds around me. I am beginning to develop my clairaudient ability. More and more, I notice all the sounds around me. As you learn to reawaken and develop your individual psychic abilities, whether it's clairsentience, clairvoyance, or clairaudience, please remember to stay grounded and balanced. When these abilities are properly developed, they can greatly assist you in all areas of your life. But most important, they'll benefit your spiritual development. It should be a wonderful experience as you discover and build up your psychic strength and flex those intuitive muscles. After all, the more you use them, the stronger they'll get. It's really that simple. That concludes part 2 of the Psychic Navigator. So I hope that you got something out of this, doing one or more of the experiments, trying to hone into your own feelings, voice, or hearing, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I hope you got something out of this information and you are learning to work on and love on yourself from the inside out. With that being said, I hope to see you next time.